Welcome back, everybody, to Talking Horses with me, Horse Racing Rich. As always, we are brought to you by MaxActionSports.com, home of the internet's only money-back guarantee. Well, when we last left you, it was the eve of the Kentucky Derby, and we thought it would be an exciting, fantastic race, and it was. Mystic Dan won over Sierra Leone in a photo finish, the first one since 1996 when Grindstone won. Forever Young, Japanese horse, who we really liked, came up and ran a great third, and obviously it was a dramatic finish all the way down the stretch. Now Mystic Dan attempts to capture the second jewel of the Triple Crown in the Preakness Stakes against just 7 other horses. He defeated 19 others in the Kentucky Derby, so this one could shape up to be a little easier. Of course, it is never that simple. For those of you who are new, what we're going to do is run through the all 8 entrants. Then we're going to give you the winner, and then we're going to tell you the best way to make money on that winner. So without further ado, let's get to the horses. 1, Mugatu, 20 to 1 on the morning line. He is still 20 to 1 after the scratch of Muth. An unchanged odds does not speak well of the horse's chances. It means they're not giving him a lot of thought. Jersey Joe Bravo is running, a very well-respected jockey on the New Jersey circuit, Monmouth. He is well-known and always a bet to win. Mugatu probably isn't. He's not the worst horse in the field. He's also not the best or in that top bunch. 7.5 length loss to Sierra Leone in the Bluegrass Stakes. He's got 1 win in 12 lifetime races as a 3-year-old. That does not speak to high-end potential. 2, Uncle Heavy, 20 to 1. Again, unchanged odds. Robert Reed Jr. is a trainer, and Irad Ortiz, who has never won the Preakness, is on the mount. Look, he started out this year great. He won the Withers, which is an early prep race in New York. Then he ran a terrible 5th in the Wood. There's nothing that suggests whether his pedigree or his racing history that he's a grade 1 horse. His fair odds and probably what he's going to go off at is closer to 50 to 1, if not above that, rather than the 20 to 1 morning line. 3, Catching Freedom, our pick for the Kentucky Derby. He ran a good 4th. He's a deep closer, came through some trouble. A little bit longer of a race. Maybe he wins it, maybe he doesn't, but he was there and he ran a representative race, which is what we thought he would do. Brad Cox trained Flavian Pratt on the ride. He was a morning line 6 to 1. Odds basically cut in half down to 7 to 2. The Preakness hasn't recently been won by closers. Rombauer won. Back in 2021. Off the lead, he wasn't a deep closer. Won really from mid-pack. 8-horse field, tough to get a real run up. Unless it's a super hot pace, which this one doesn't really shape up to be. Catching Freedom's a really nice horse. This is just probably not the race for him. The 4, Muth was scratched. He was the morning line favorite. Now 5, Mystic Dan moves into that spot. He drops from 5 to 2, which was very fair odds for a Derby winner, down to 8 to 5. Obviously, Kenny McPeak is the trainer. He has previously won the Preakness. He did it with the filly, a Swiss Skydiver, back in the pandemic year. The race wasn't until October, so you can throw a million asterisks on that. He ran a perfect race. Brian Hernandez Jr. put him in the perfect spot. I mean, it was like you watch the replays. He's in a bubble the entire way. There's no traffic. Yeah, on the turn, he bumped a couple guys out of the way and then just took off. But he ran just an unimpeded race on the rail the whole way. Perfect race for that horse. Taking absolutely nothing away from him. He's a good horse. Deserves all the accolades and praise that he's getting. Is he going to run the perfect race every time he runs? Probably not. It's just not how horse racing works. I don't think any less of him. He's a Kentucky Derby winner, and that forever will be attached to his name. 6, Seize the Gray, 12 to 1 on the morning on the new line, down from 15 to 1. D. Wayne Lucas and Jaime Torres. He is the hot horse, right? Outside of obviously Mystic Dan. Season Gray won the Pate Mile. Pate Mile winners, which is held on Derby Day earlier in the day, never go to the Preakness. They usually run in the Woody Stevens, on Belmont Day. Some of them run in the Belmont Stakes, but not often. And it's a quick turnaround. So Dean Wayne, who is a legendary trainer, he's won, countless races, Grade 1 races throughout his career, won the Preakness numerous times, 6 to be exact. You got to think he saw something in his race on Pate Mile to put him in this race. That speaks highly to anybody. It should jump out at you, and it has. What doesn't jump out at you is his past performances. He ran seventh in the Bluegrass. He ran third in the Jeff Ruby. Those are not great finishes. When he does run well, he is close to the lead, so maybe that's what D. Wayne's looking at. A race that he can get close to the lead without exerting himself too much. 7, Just Steel, 15 to 1 on the morning line, is now 12 to 1. Another D. Wayne Lucas horse, and ridden by Joel Rosario, who has Kentucky Derby wins and Belmont Stakes wins, but never a Preakness. So he's going for his own personal Triple Crown here. He broke well in the Derby, then ran into trouble, got shuffled all the way back, finished 17th over 33 lengths from the lead. Probably didn't exert himself too much, so he's a fresh horse coming into this race as well. Not a lot to be said about him. Decent horse, out of Justify, obviously the Triple Crown winner. So we'll see. He's an interesting entry. I think he's going to get bet down from that 12 to 1 though. 8, Tuscan Gold, 9 to 2, down from 8 to 1. This is the Chad Brown new shooter entry for the Preakness. He obviously won in 2022 with early voting and won in 2017 with cloud computing. This is a carbon copy, I think a little bit lesser of a horse, but a carbon copy of the whole profile and program that Chad Brown has put together for the Preakness. Does not run in the Derby, has 3 lifetime races, comes in and tries to scoop up the Preakness. The difference with Tuscan Gold is he hasn't won. He won his maiden race, and then he's just kind of kicked around, for a third and a second. So, he profiles maybe a little closer to cloud computing, which was a bigger upset than early voting. Kind of early voting, everybody thought really had a very strong chance. And your last horse is number 9, Imagination, 3 to 1, down from 6 to 1. He is the Bob Baffert entry. The clone, if you will, of National Treasure last year, who did win at 4 to 1. Baffert, what can you say? The guy's got 8 Preakness wins. He's got 3 since 2015, including last year. Imagination has a really solid base, 6 races, has never been worse than second. Even in in 4 second place finishes, he was within a head, and he, has won by almost 2 lengths and won by a neck. He's a really good horse. He likes to be on the lead. The Preakness is won from the lead. This is a horse where, he's going to get bet down from that 3 to 1. He's going to be right there. He's an interesting angle to play. So those are your 8 horses in the Preakness. So who's going to win? Well, last year we talked about how the Preakness has really become a new shooter's race. 5 years, 5 different trainers have won, 5 different jockeys have won. Only 2 winners of the Preakness even ran in the Kentucky Derby. Last year was an addition to that, so you can add 6 to all those numbers, and you have 2 out of 6 of the last year just ran in the Derby. So it is a new shooter's race. The interesting thing about this year is there's a couple other angles that you might want to look at. So, the first one is obvious one is that Tuscan Gold angle, right? It's Chad Brown's, triplicate, right? Going for, number 3 since 2017. The question that you ask yourself, is Tuscan Gold as good as cloud computing? Is he as good as early voting? We don't think so, but that doesn't always matter. Roy's profile shapes up into that too. Then you got 9, Imagination, the Bob Baffert horse. Okay, Baffert's banned in Kentucky, he's still a great trainer. Imagination looks a lot and runs a lot like National Treasure, although National Treasure wasn't, the big question last year was he going to get to the lead? Because in the Preakness, you got to be on the lead. Brombauer, as we talked about, was the only horse to win from even mid-pack. Imagination likes the lead, so that kind of screams at you. It says, hey, what are we going to do with this? Now, Imagination isn't Baffert's top horse. That was Muth. But National Treasure wasn't Bafford's top horse either. So there's a lot to like there, not a lot to dislike, rather, other than the 3-1 odds. And then you have the D. Wayne Lucas angle. You have two entries, Just Steel and Seize the Gray. Now, out of those two, we like Seize the Gray better. He's the hot horse. He's the horse that shouldn't be in this race because he just raced in the Pat Day Mile. So what is D. Wayne Lucas thinking? Well, we think he's thinking exactly what we are now thinking, which is that Seize the Gray at 12-1 is going to be this year's Preakness Stakes champs. And that's exactly what we're picking. Seize the Gray, seize the day with us and D. Wayne Lucas. Now, how are you going to make money? Well, it should be pretty easy. At 12-1, we're going to put 25% of whatever left is on our bankroll on him to win. Then we're going to do a win play show on Just Steel, the other D. Wayne Lucas entry. Then we're going to do a Zack the Box with Seize the Gray, Catching Freedom, and Tuscan Gold. And then we're going to do also another Zack the Box with Just Steel, Imagination, and Catching Freedom. You'll notice that we put Catching Freedom in both Zack the Boxes. We think Catching Freedom is almost a lock to hit the board in third. He will run up at the end to what is probably not going to be a very hot pace. Imagination will be on it. He will be in the lead, and we think Seize the Gray will catch him. Seize the Gray will not be coming from very far back. He'll probably be on his hip or maybe in length behind. But Catching Freedom will run up at the end and grab third place. So there you have it, folks. Those are our picks. Those are our bets. Those are the horses for the Preakness Stakes 2024. We thank you for watching. Head on over to maxactionsports.com where you'll find my write-up of all the graded stakes on Preakness Day. Make sure to share, subscribe, and like this video. That always helps. And always remember, if you don't bet, you can't win.